All right, peace, YouTube. What's going on? We back with another trending hot topic commentary show. I'm your host, N Lynch. Let's talk. All right, sorry for the delay. Sorry for the pushback. I've been trying to get things together, so I had to push the time back. But we here now. We started. So let's get this show on the road. So if you clicked on the video, then you know why you're here. So let's just start talking. I believe that a lot of us of color, we shouldn't be participating in this whole bringing Kanye West thing down. Now, I know that he say a lot of stuff that be kind of out there. He do a lot of antics and everything that get people all upset and mad and everything. But the way I look at it is, if it's not really personally affecting you, then what do you care? You know, I believe so many people get so caught up in their emotions for whatever reasons that it blinds them from seeing things clearly. Like you can disagree with someone for one thing, but agree with them for several other things. Like, I'm the type of person, if I don't mess with you, that's cool. But if you do something that's validated or that's credible, then regardless if I mess with you or not, you know, I give credit to where credit is due. And I think a lot of people today, you know, they miss that whole concept. It's just that, oh, you said something I don't like, or you did something I don't like, so forget everything and everything about you. And it's like, no, we shouldn't do that. Now, it's layers to this, so you got to bear with me. You got to follow me, because it's not that I'm just saying we shouldn't partake in this whole bring down Ye just for the mere fact of it because we're black. No, there's more to it. And I'm going to explain. You see, if we allow this to happen, then pretty much we're opening doors for policies and laws and everything to be changed. Like, do y'all not realize if they can do that to him, then they can do that to me and you? Like, dude was a billionaire, a multi-billionaire. Same thing like with Trump. Same thing, they did the same exact thing with him. Brought him down. And it's like, if they can do that to powerful, rich, powerful people like that, well, I'll leave the powerful part out. But if they can do that to rich people like that, then can you imagine what they can do to me and you? And that's pretty much what this thing is leading to. Slowly but surely, our laws are changing. They're getting more strict. Our civil rights, our freedoms, all that stuff is being slowly picked apart. It's not really actually happening slow no more. It's actually happening at a rapid rate. And that's because people are allowing it, because so many people are so emotional. And it's cancel culture. And I think this whole cancel culture is, you know, a big part of the problem of why the powers that be can and do this, because we're the ones. We're the people, we're the consumers. We're the ones who say what we want and what we don't want. And they're the ones who put it in play. Like, do y'all not see how? Just think about 5 years ago. Think about the policies and everything 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and think of now. Do you see how different it is? Think about social media, for example. I don't know how many of you got, you know, Facebook or whatever, TikTok, Twitter. I don't think TikTok was around 10 years ago. I'm not sure, but let's just say Facebook and YouTube and stuff, for example. Have y'all figured out that you can't post or say certain things or post certain videos anymore without being going against the community guidelines or being striked or whatever? And it was just different, like pre-pandemic. I can say that for sure. A lot of the stuff that I was doing and posting on Facebook and everything, you can't do that now. And a lot of part of that is because of us, the people. We allow these policies to happen. Now, the whole thing with Ye, like I said, I don't agree with everything that dude say. And, he may or may have not need help. Who knows? What's going on, what's up inside his head, because we're not there. We don't know exactly what he's privy to that's causing him to, have these episodes. So I'm not just gonna say, oh, he just, blatantly tripping. I mean, he is tripping, but it could be a method to his madness. The reason why he's doing all this stuff. But whether you agree with him or you don't agree with him, this should be the time where us, as people of color, as melanin people, should be standing behind them and be like, all right, well, if y'all not going to take them, if y'all going to throw them to the curb, then we got them. And that would change the whole narrative. Like, do y'all not understand that the power of the black consumer? I presume most of y'all know anyway. Like, we got a lot of power in this country because of our spending habits. We spend. We're in the minority, but we spend more than the wealthy people. It's crazy. Just take a weekend, like today, Friday, right? If all people of color in this country wasn't to spend any money from today up until Monday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we spend nothing. We just fend for ourselves, whatever. Do you know how bad it would cripple the economy? On Monday, the stock market would crash just because we ain't spending. Like, that's how powerful we are. But we don't use that. We use it for the wrong reasons. We use it to march out against dumb stuff. We'll go out and riot and tear up our own neighborhoods before we can, come together and do some real good. And part of me starting to, learn more about our history and more so the psychological damage that's been done to us through over 500 years of bondage. Like, we, as a whole, as a people, like, we're fucked up. So I get it. I can dig it. So I try not to blame us as a whole, too much. But it comes to a point like, all right, like, you got to break out of that shell. Enough is enough. But it seems like a lot of people don't do that. Then you got people like Candace Owens, who was just cool with him a week ago. Literally. It was all good just a week ago. Now she don't want to have him on her platform for whatever reasons. Maybe because her husband and the ties they hold. See, y'all gotta understand, and it's funny too because I think Kanye I don't think he's a Republican, but kind of like a lot of black people now, they're starting to lean against towards the Republican Party, even if you're not voting. You kind of side more because you like a lot of us are starting to wake up and realize the Dems are full of crap. But now the Republicans are even turning against Ye. See, this is what I had to learn too, because like when I started getting into this whole politics stuff and start opening up, I start seeing the Dems was full of crap, and like a lot of us now, I'm not either or Republican or Democrat, but if I were to lean towards one, I probably would pick Republican. But at the same time, I trust neither one because I look at it like both of these parties are is what it is. They're both parties. They're two sides of the same coin. All this stuff. And we getting duped. We're made to believe that we're choosing, that we have certain rights, certain freedoms, but we don't. Not really. I made the question, and this is something that I've been saying lately, asking people, especially people who I consider of note, who may have some type of a knowledge of the system or just whatever. I be asking them like, if we as black people don't vote at all, because like I said, we got power, not just in with the spending, but with the voting power as well. And if black people stop voting, but we don't vote for either parties, not Democrat, not Republican, not independent, nothing. We just choose to just don't trust the system. Like, you know what? Fuck it. We don't trust y'all. And just give it quits. What do y'all think will happen? Do y'all think that they just still go on without us? Shoot, better yet, take more than just black people. What about just everyone in the country? If everyone just decide not to go to the polls and just like, you know what? These last couple years, the pandemic, we see that due to BS of the system, we don't trust y'all no more. We're not gonna vote. We're not gonna rely on y'all. We're the people. We're gonna rely on ourselves. And everyone just say, "F the polls." No one goes to the polls and votes. What do you think will happen to the system? What do you think the governments would do? They stay. That's when you'll see who's really in charge. That's when you'll see. That's the time when you'll see that we as a people don't really have no power or authority, because they're going to do what they're going to do regardless, whether we vote or not. See, this is all an illusion. And this was what a lot of people has been speaking about. And yeah, a lot of us, we get caught up in the politics. We get caught up in everything that's happening in the industry and entertainment and all that stuff. Like, that's what it's all for. It's all distraction to pretty much keep us blinded and dumb from the truth of what's really going on. And then when you got certain people in positions who may get maybe just a glimpse of intel more than the average Joe, and they start going a little mad or whatever, or perceived to be that way, then there's a big problem. Like, because that's pretty much what it is. Like, people in the know, since this video is about Kanye, we can use him for example. That's pretty much what I'm talking about. He know things more than what we know. He's up there with the executives and everyone, and just kind of like what I forget who it was. It was Brad Pitt or it was Mel Gibson. It was either one of them. Y'all can go look it up for yourselves and check it out. But one of them said maybe about 6 or 7 years ago, they was like, the people that control Hollywood and the music industry pretty much run the world. And if y'all don't see like the correlation between what the news and the media do in the film industry, the music industry, how it's ties. Because at the end of the day, all of them are big time executives, CEOs, multi-millionaires and billionaires. So they all cool with each other. And they all want to work together to gain from pretty much financial gain. It's a system, kind of like how the prison system, the execs and everything, how those people use that as a business, and they use the music industry as a tool to get more workers into the prison system. This is why back in the 90s, they went from the early 90s, late 80s, whatever, they went from conscious rap music to gangster rap music. And it's so funny because, like, I'm not gonna say I recently just found out this, because I found out this like maybe like 4 or 5 years ago. But me being 38 years old, that's still recent. And like when I seen it and started doing my research on it and everything, that shit just blew my mind. I'm like, damn, because it all makes sense. And the crazy part about it is a lot of people don't see that. And then I can remember, I think it was Crazy Bone. It was one of those Bone Thugs and Harmony dudes. It was Busy Bone, Crazy Bone. I think it was not the one who said I miss my Uncle Charles. The brown skinny one, the one who kind of like Snoop a little bit. I think he was on Hip Hop Uncensored, and he was saying how he was like in a room. I think he said it was him, or he heard a story. Someone was telling him a story, and they was saying that like how the execs had the rappers in the room and was telling them the plan on how to, get more people in the system and everything. And like they couldn't believe it. They thought it was a joke at first, and when they realized it was real, like it just got real quiet in the room. Like this shit gets deep. So I say all that stuff to bring it back full circle on Kanye West. Because this is part of that category. Those same type of people who want those things to happen are the same type of people who want him to shut up on what's really going on. Those are the same type of people who control masters and royalties for a lot of artists and everything. It's funny how when certain people about to start doing certain things, things happen to them. R. Kelly was about to get his masters. Now he's locked up. Bill Cosby was about to buy NBC. Then those things happen to him. Ye allegedly was trying to branch off and do his own thing with from Adidas and just with Balenciaga and everything, and all this stuff happening. Like, y'all don't understand how all this stuff be connected a lot. And I'm sure, like I'm sure some of y'all, I'm sure like a lot of y'all do, because when you just look at everything and pay attention, like it's blatantly, it's right in front of you. And that's the whole point of the rant, because it's like they do this shit right in front of our faces, and we as the people allow it because we get in our feelings. Like for real, like just think about this. Like, think about it. Let's just say Ye it was wrong about all this stuff. Like, yeah, he wrong. He shouldn't have did all this and everything. He wrong. He dead wrong, right? Just humor me for a second, and I'll I'll play with you. What the fuck does that have to do with you? like, like emotionally, because I see a lot of people of color and of people who supposed to be of note, who supposed to be our leaders and stuff, all coming out and mad. Oh, he's this, he's that, and everything. Like, why you mad, bro? Like, my man, why you so upset? You all right? You need a pat on the back? Like, sis, you need a hug? Because I look at all this stuff like, all right, for what? Unless these certain individuals put in place so they can influence the mass, which is us, so we can be upset too, because the people that we look up to or we listen to are upset. So now we got to be upset. Like, people have been saying that for a while. People are put in positions. They'll let a few people, into the world a little bit, because they're not. None of them are fully into it, but they'll give them a few trinkets. A couple of them being a couple multi-millionaires, few billionaires. Famous and everything, movie stars, actors, basketball players. Like that, they'll let a few of us do that, just so we can all be in line. Like, if y'all think about conditioning on how you get people to follow suit in order, like, this shit is psychological. It gets deep. Like, you can take the really linked concept, but even before that and after that, it's so many references in history, whereas though they show you how to manipulate people to get them to fall in line. And it's like the average person seem like they oblivious to this somehow. For what reason, I don't know. But all this stuff is out there. A lot of this shit is public knowledge. I don't get it. And the whole point is, like I said in the beginning, it's not trying to save Ye. Because this whole thing is, oh, we shouldn't be doing this. We should help Ye. Save him, poor Ye, poor Ye. That man rich. He filthy rich. And I hear people saying he ain't a billionaire no more, which that's not true. He may not be going to be getting no more billions, but he still had billions in his account. So he's still pretty much a billionaire. And even if he wasn't, he still got hundreds of millions of dollars. So he'll be richer than most of us will ever be. So he's going to be all right. The point of this whole video is not about helping Ye. It's about helping you, helping us. Because like I said, and I have to reiterate this again, if you didn't hear it the first time, if we can just allow this to happen, they're going to keep doing it. Then it's going to be stuff that's going to be happening to us. How much y'all want to bet sooner or later they're going to start trying to bring him up on charges for something? Y'all seen the incident what happened on the freeway where the people was out there and they had the banner over top of the freeway talking about that group that we shouldn't say because we'll get canceled. But they had Ye in the banner and everything. Kanye West was up there. They were like, Kanye West was right about the you know what, and the media just ate it up. It was all over the news. And they were saying how that they can lead to violence and everything. They even had a national security advisor, national security, NSA, on TV talking about it. About Kanye West, national security. But y'all don't see where this leading at? This shit crazy, bro. and I just fall back and I see this stuff, and part of it kind of makes me upset because it's like like little old me. What can I do? You know, I can't really do nothing. Nothing for real, for real. All that I can really do is be on here or a lot talk about shit like the rest of us. But even if one person can listen and be like, damn, you know what? That's real. You're right. And then they speak to other someone else about it or whatever. And then they person speak to someone else about it. Then that's a chain reaction. That's the start. So and I'm cool with that. Gotta start somewhere, right? It just boggles me that so many of our so-called leaders just well, now that I'm sitting here thinking about it as I'm about to say it, it's not surprising because like I said, people put in play for a reason. So I mean, that's funny. I just had an epiphany while I'm about to say it. But as the people, the saying is still the same. That it boggles me that so many people can be just easily just wooed over. It's like people don't have no type of free thinking skills. It's whatever someone says or what they hear is just all right. You eat it up. Even like the shit that I'm saying right now, I say all the time when I make these videos. I try to make it a point anyway. You ain't gotta believe nothing I say. I tell y'all, everything that I say is public knowledge. Go look it up for yourself and come to your own surmise. That's what I do. I check things out. I'll listen to someone. I'll be like, that's interesting. That sounds like he or she may have a point. But let me check for myself though. Like that's how I operate. I can't because I've used to be the opposite. I used to just listen to people, and because certain people, you know how some people have a perception of being just right or smart or whatever, and you just take what they say for face value, and then it turns out that they was full of shit. That happened to me so many times where it was like, you know what? Let me just do my own due diligence, check this stuff out, and see. And a lot of times now, I've come to the conclusion that a lot of people been full of crap a lot. So that's why I look up things a lot myself, and that's why I always try to pass that along to everyone else. Like, yo, look it up for yourself. I say that all the research, do your research. Look this stuff up. Check this out. Because it's better than you just, for me anyway, I feel like it is it's more gratifying finding out something for yourself than someone just telling you and believing it, because you be like, oh snap, word, that's right. Or even if someone told you, pass you some information, then you go do your research on it and you feel like, oh shit, he or she was telling the truth about that. All right, well, let me keep my eye open on that. Like, you get me? And if you look into this stuff, you'll start seeing that it's a lot of stuff that they don't tell us. like like this is kind of off topic. I mean, I like to say that everything is connected. So, um, And in the long run, there's a connection, but it's off topic. But um, they just told us, we just recently found out that Christopher Columbus was a fraud, and now Columbus Day is now supposed to be quote unquote um, Indigenous People Day or whatever. And it's like, why y'all didn't tell us that a century ago, 2 centuries ago? Y'all knew it. What else you ain't telling us? Like they like to tell us that, like in school, we always hear about the transatlantic slave trade, but we never hear about the European slave trade because it was colonizers in Africa taking Africans way before the North Atlantic slave trade even started. You ever notice maybe in certain books or movies and stuff y'all may have watched of like ancient times and like Gladiator or something like that, and it'll be like black peasants or black slaves and they call them Moors? Where do you think all that stuff came from? Like we've been, everywhere, and black people are the original who. That's the stuff too that should be public knowledge that y'all should look up. It's so much information out here that for real, like you had to start taking a break because it will burn your damn mind literally. You start getting headaches just sucking this stuff in because you be anything like me anyway, and you just start consuming. You just taking it in, absorbing it like a sponge, and like damn. Because I'd be so intrigued, especially when I found out stuff I never knew before. Like that shit really intrigues me, especially when it relates to our history. And it's a lot that we're ignorant to. That's all it is ignorance. And I'm finding out that ignorance isn't bliss. We like to think it is, but it's not. Because ignorance can hurt us in the long run. Because true for real, history, us knowing our history, our heritage, is what will change the world. Like we don't even know where we came from. We got over 800 years of our history just been wiped clean from us like that. We don't know what our true religion is. We don't know what our true native tongue is. We know nothing. And that was done on purpose. To the point where as though you got all these archaeologists digging up all these mummies and stuff around the world, seeing that they're originally black people, but they're so jealous or whatever the case may be that they change the way they think they may have looked when they do renditions or iterations in movies or cartoons or whatever. When you check these mummified bodies out and you see the nose and lips and everything, or you look at the sculptures and you see those big old lips, those big wide noses, those hips of Nefertiti, like we it gets like we are the original people. And this is no knock to no other culture, because me personally, I look at it like we're all brothers and sisters. We just came first. That's all. But we are bros and sisters. We are human anyway, right? I mean, I hear things about reptilian people and all that stuff. That's probably a conversation for another live, because I'm gonna get into all that stuff too eventually. But you know, for the tempers and purposes, we talk about human beings on this video, and we are brothers and sisters. So the whole animosity or like a bondage, slavery, all that stuff is just, when you just look at it, it's just it's just trying to assert dominance over another person. That's pretty much what it is. It's just, a dominance thing, which translate when you peel the layers back and look at it for what it really is. It's an insecurity thing. Because if you were really secure about yourself, you wouldn't be trying to dominate no one else. You wouldn't care about no one else because you're so busy worrying about yourself and what you're doing. But I guess that's just too much like right. I guess that's just too normal. So people want to project their own negativity or insecurities on the others and everything, and to make themselves feel better. That's been happening since human history. That's the flaw with us as a people. And hold on, give me 1 second. My music stopped. That's my jam. But yeah, that's the flaw as a people. I think the whole trying to assert dominance or whatever. It's so funny. I was watching. Who was I watching? I think it was Charleston White. yeah, it was. I was watching a clip of Charleston White. He was talking about, the whole for real, the whole thing why they hate, black people is whatever is because, of our girth. Y'all, you know what I'm talking about, and it's a whole jealousy, envy thing. And I was sitting here thinking about it, whatever, and I start, like I told y'all, doing some research. I start listening to other people talking about it. So then I got out of just the regular people. I'm like, let me listen to some people who, may have some information on this, like some type of scholar. And I start looking up other people, and there is some type of research behind that. It's not to be proven or whatever. It's not proven, but there's a lot of people who speculated the reason, for that. And a lot of people who behind this were, of course, black, but you had other people who were other races as well, and they were saying the same thing. And I'm like, is there some truth to that? It could be. I don't know. It kind of remind me of that movie, that Jordan Peele movie, Get Out. How they were, what's that? Get Out? Yeah, Get Out. Where they were trying to take over the black people or whatever. That was Get Out, wasn't it? Yeah, I think that was Get Out. But more importantly than that, because that might be some bullshit. But it's all evil and wickedness. Point blank and period. Evil exists, wickedness exists. People like to talk about energies and vibes and vibes and energy and all that stuff. Well, if vibes and energies are real, the entities are real too. Whether that be demonic or divine. And depending on what type of person you are, you open yourself up to whichever or. So that's why that whole energy thing, energy is real, vibing. Well, I never liked that saying because people use it so much. You know, I just want to vibe and chill. I guess people use it so loosely in wrong concepts. Oh, I'm trying to manifest this energy type shit. Like that stuff sounds corny to me. But the reality is that whether they know it or not, they're right. Energy and vibes and stuff is real. So you have to be careful on what type of energy and vibing you're doing, who you're vibing with. Also, energy is transferable. So people be around you to absorb your energy. You ever realize that sometimes you can be getting drained by certain people? It's like you can be the most energetic, hype, cool, person, but around certain people you just get drained. They sucking up your energy, and a lot of times they do that deliberately and don't even tell you that. Like, people understand who the chosen ones are. I don't know about you, but you ever been like in a situation where you just like came inside the room and it was like you just like lit up everything? People just gravitate towards you, whether it be good or bad. You got people hating on you for because you just came in. Because a lot of times, and this is something that I've just been figuring out over the last couple of years, but that's because, like, we're all God's creatures. We're all, divine beings. But some of us are a little bit more special than others. And sometimes, like, I'm going to go back full circle. That energy, that vibe, it radiates off you. And people can sense it. They pick it up off you. And they can either bring them joy. They can even inspire them. And they want to be around you and want to know stuff about you. Or it can turn people off and they start hating on you and they be jealous of you and they don't even know you. That ever happens to you? Yeah. Have you ever been in that position? Have you known someone been in that position? Have you ever been the recipient? Have you been the person who's been mesmerized in a good or a bad way? Like, so, yeah, all this shit is real. That's why now, as I get older, I try to be more respectful. I can be petty, and I say that all the time. I can be real petty, but I try to be more respectful, and more so a lot of times now I just keep to myself. I work, I do my little hustles, make my content on all my platforms and everything, and I chill with my family. Because it's wicked out here, and I'm going somewhere with all this. So just follow me for a second. It's wicked out here, and it seemed like it got worse over the last, for me, since the beginning of the pandemic. I don't know about y'all. Maybe y'all feel a little bit differently, but or maybe that's when I started paying attention more, which a lot of us have because it woke a lot of us up, or a lot of us lost work and everything, and we ain't had no choice but to be on the internet and start seeing certain things and paying attention. So we start noticing stuff. But what I notice is since the beginning of the pandemic, this world has gotten so damn wicked. Excuse me, you know how they say like times change each generation? Like the generations times change, like this generation was different from last generation, and then that generation from the generation prior. It felt like the generation has changed, and the mentality, the conditioning has changed within 2 years. Like generations of wickedness and nonchalant type self thinking happened that fast within this short span of time. And that right there, that boggles me. That I think about that damn near every day. Cause I can remember 4 years ago, just the atmosphere, just being outside. Like, I don't know where y'all from, but I'm from Philly. And we got this place called South Street. It's like a spot we used to go to. Like, it's like a spot you go to down like Fridays and Saturdays and stuff. They got all the out stores and everything, bars and clubs, and people hang out there, chill, whatever. But they had like this mass shooting there, I think like in July or June or something like that. It was all over the news. It actually made national news, whatever. Because the dudes, they fled the states, and I think they caught them or whatever. But I was just listening to the radio last week, and they were saying how the businesses on South Street are hurting right now, and a lot of stores are about to close because they're not getting no business because a lot of people are afraid to go down there and hang out and afraid of the shootings. And then in the city, it's so much shooting like every damn day, everywhere, all day, every day. I was fortunate enough to move out the city last year. I'm in the county now, but I'm still around the corner. All my family's still in the city or whatever. I still go in the city. So it's crazy. And I see this happening when I watch like national news. It's happening everywhere. In Memphis, in California, in New York, in Arizona, Texas, and Florida, and Virginia. Like a lot of damn places. Like you gotta be real remote for not to hear some stuff. That's why I be talking about now getting out of the state, going places. Because it's getting real out here. And it's all part of this whole new world order that they're ushering in. See, I told you I was going to swing back around. It all goes full circle. I just had to, talk a little bit and get it out because it's all a connection. All this stuff is the stuff that's happening with Kanye West, the stuff um, that happened the last 2 years, the stuff that's happening now, these new laws. Like, did y'all hear about the laws they talking about that's gonna take place starting January 2023? Like, this shit about to get real out here. That's why a lot of people who can afford it are buying bunkers. I don't know if y'all pay attention to that stuff because I do. I mean, I've always been like a survival prep type person, like because I've always been on that type of weird stuff. I mean, it ain't even weird, but because I'm black and I'm from the hood, my peers call it weird, but it ain't weird. But I've always been on that type of stuff, and it seems like that's good because we're gonna have to prepare for a lot of stuff that's about to take place. Like a lot of our freedoms and liberties are going to be just gone, and some people may think that they cool with it now because it may sound far off or it may sound unbelievable, whatever. Or some people got the well, if it happens, it happens. It ain't going to affect me, whatever. As long as I'm a good citizen and everything. But like that whole cashless money thing is going to be taking effect real soon over here because they're already doing it in different parts of the world now. Like it's not like a concept, whereas though it would like cashless economy is already happening in parts of the world now. It's just not here in America yet, but it will be real soon, like really soon. And if you're someone when that happens and stuff, right? And let's just say you're someone like a Kanye West who goes off the rail and start ranting and having Twitter fingers and saying all this stuff on Twitter or going on different people podcasts and saying stuff, but then they can just turn you right off and you got nothing. You won't be able to buy or sell. Any of that sound familiar to y'all? If you don't have the certain criteria, aka mark, you won't be able to buy or sell. Like, have any of y'all checked out the United Nations lately? Like right now, as I'm talking, or whenever you hear this, open another tab, or if you got another computer or phone, right now, Google United Nations statue outside, or United Nations statue, and you'll see what the hell I'm talking about. The statue with like a leopard or a big cat with wings and stuff. The thing that was mentioned in Matthew and in Revelations 13, but it's just sitting right outside the United Nations, and it's a new statue too. They just got it November of last year. They unveiled it in front of the United Nations here in America. Like this stuff is real. It just so happened. Now you can say because that was the thing. They said, well, this was like a gift from like because Mexicans made it the statue or whatever, and they said it was symbolizing something, but it just so happened that the United Nations were the 12 tribes because that's pretty much uh uh that's what it really is, the tribes of the earth, United Nations. If you think about it in biblical terms, they just so happen to have a statue that uncannily resembles the beast of Revelations, just sitting right outside in front of their in front of the building, just chilling, and people ain't saying nothing. How many of y'all knew that? Because when I found out about this, I found out about it maybe like a few days after they unveiled it. I actually made a YouTube video about it. I made a video about it because I couldn't believe it. Like, they really did that? Like, all this stuff is pretty much everything that's happening with Ye, everything that's happening around the world, pretty much. Because all this stuff is just a catalyst for what's to come. The war in the Ukraine and Russia, the potential war between Taiwan and China, the stuff that's happening with us, all everything that's happened domestically with the gun violence and everything. Remember how in 2020 when they brought the military inside here and it quelled a lot of the violence that was going on, like locally anyway. I ain't talking about the riots and everything, but as far as like the local violence, black on black crimes and all that stuff, it's kind of slowed down, right? You remember that? If you don't, you can look it up. Because the military was everything, where every corner it was armored vehicles and people with AKs. Dudes were scared to do stuff. What if the government was like, all right, we need to bring that back in? Because it seems like that's where it's going to hit it at eventually. And I was talking to my godmom about this, who's also like a spiritual advisor to me. Because I remember watching the video. Someone was saying, I forget the YouTuber name, forgive me, but he was saying like how the army need to come back in. It was like a podcast show, and they were saying they need to stop the violence and everything. And I was saying, like, you know what? I hate to admit it, but I agree with him. And well, I was talking to my godmom about it, and she was like, that ain't just like how I'm saying about the whole us shouldn't allow this whole public economic crucifixion of Kanye West. She kind of said the same thing about that. Like, we shouldn't allow the military to come in just to stop the violence, because that ain't going to do nothing but open doors for other stuff, like full military government control. And I'm like, you're right. Like, you can think about it, and I knew that, thinking, like, talking about it, but it's just so much violence here that it's like, all right, the military or something got to come in here. The National Guard's got to stop this shit, because like the local police, the cops ain't doing nothing. And it seems pretty convenient that, especially in all the blue states, it seems like the crime is going up way, way more crazier, where they all are defunding the police and everything. Like Pennsylvania, Philly, it's a blue state. And I can tell you firsthand, crime is crazy here. I think we're number one now, if I'm not mistaken. I know it went raised up last year. I don't know if it's still number one, but Philly is the number one crime city in America. If it ain't number one, it probably dropped back down to number two. But Philly's in the top three, and that's bad to be in a top anything of crime infested cities of anything. All right, this is not a boast. This is actually a sad, it's sickening. So maybe the powers that be wanted to get so bad that we call on it. We say, all right, come in and stop this shit. But if they do that, are they going to relinquish that power once everything, calm down? Like, these are the things that we would have to worry about, opening these type of doors. And then because of that, will capital punishment start becoming a norm? Making people, using people as examples to not do it again. And you can't say it's impossible. Did y'all ever think 2020 what happened? Did y'all ever think the world was shut down? Shoot, after 2020, 2021, January 6th, I've never thought that I would ever see something like that day in my life, and I seen it. So I think we're living in a time now where the impossible or the improbable is becoming more and more a probability or a possibility. And we can stop that. There's a few things we can do. It's a few steps we can take. One of them right now being supporting our brother Kanye West. Like I said, this is not no Save Kanye West campaign because just to save him because we're fans. This is more so saving him for our sake. Or not saving him, but supporting him rather. Because this public, and they doing this publicly too, this humiliation and everything, it's only going to get worse. And it's going to get bad for the rest of us. Now, I do want to touch back on something. I remember in the beginning when I was talking about Ye and Trump, I mentioned if they can do this to the rich and powerful, and I scratched away powerful, I want to touch more on that. This is the reason why it's important to have power more than just money. Like, think about it. People talk about Jay-Z like he the big homie, right? Jay-Z, he the big homie, correct? He a billionaire and everything. But people neglected to say that Kanye West got way more money than Jay-Z. People may argue he made different now because he got dropped from Adidas, but just a week ago, Kanye West had enough, assets where he can lend Jay-Z, Diddy, and Beyonce $1 billion, and he'll still have more money than them. But they still looked at Jay-Z like the big homie. That's more so of the power that Jay-Z got. It kind of reminds me of, I don't know if y'all know history, but like kings, especially like in the medieval times, 15th century, 16th century, like Henry VIII times, things of that time. Henry VIII used to be broke a lot. He used to spend a lot of the money. I'm a little history bum, so forgive me. But Henry VIII used to spend a lot of money, and there were a bunch of noblemen who were had acres of land and had more money than the actual king. And this happened throughout other, you know, kingdoms too. But right now I'm talking about, Henry VIII. But because Henry VIII was the king and he had an army, aka power, all he did was when he got broke, he just killed those people, took their land, took their money, and he replenished the kingdom's money again. Or he'll just tax them, and then tax the regular people. Just constantly tax them, and get more money. Like that's the difference. That's the difference between money and power. There was a bunch of people who had more money than kings throughout history, but because they had the power, they can take it. And this is why some people now in modern times they try to. That's why that whole saying, and because we got heard it from raps, get the money and the power. That's where that came from. Because you don't just want money, you need power too. You need connections. You need affiliations. And that's something that apparently Kanye West don't got. And former President Donald Trump, he didn't have a lot. He had more power than Kanye West, I can tell you that. Him being just naturally being privileged because he's not a man of color. And he's also a businessman. He knew a bunch of whole other billionaires and all that stuff, but he didn't have enough power. Let's say it like that. So that's important. For all the people who just worry about just getting a lot of, unless you're just someone who just want to just get your money and just be quiet and just, be tucked away somewhere, then yeah. But yeah, you got to have power with your money. Unless, if you don't, your money don't mean nothing. Not in the grand scheme of things, not to people who got money themselves. He said hot girls here. Oh, what the hell? Hot girls here. Okay. But anyway, I ain't want to be too long on this live, and I'm over an hour. So, the whole point was we as a people just need to do better as far as being in our feelings and our emotions with things. But that's like talking to a wall. That's the easiest said than done, I can see. Because it's like the same old song. I've heard so many other people before myself been saying this shit for years. I've been listening to, and I'm not even Muslim. I'm a Christian, but I've been listening to Louis Farrakhan for years, and he's been saying stuff like that for a while now. And ain't nothing changed. Actually, I'm wrong. I'm lying. It did change. It just got worse. Like in 1991, when I first heard Farrakhan, and this is still on YouTube too. If you go to the Phil Donahue show, if you type in Louis Farrakhan Phil Donahue show, it's right here on YouTube. Just listen to that stuff. It's some real pivotal information he was saying on there. This was like 1990. It's two of them because he was 1991, and then the second one in 1993. But both of them are good. Watch both of them. And maybe y'all can get some insight because the way this world this is why I don't like being bothered with people now. Like I said, I create my content, I do my work and stuff, and I just chill. I really don't be bothered with people no more. I'm working on my property, getting my like my land and stuff together on my like my yard. The season is over now, but I'm gonna be growing vegetables and everything next season in the springtime, and chill because it's real wicked out here and it's getting real. And the bad part about it is we ain't seen nothing yet. I'm talking all this stuff now. This shit ain't nowhere near how it's finna be real soon. But that's all I gotta say. Let me know what y'all think. Make sure y'all hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification icon, and I'll see you at the next one. All right, God bless, love y'all. Peace.